Part 1. My name is Jackson Cole, Senior Ranger for Pisgah National Forest in the Appalachian Mountains. 16 years on this job, and I thought I had seen every strange, impossible, backwoods horror this place could spit out. I was wrong. What happened in October 2022 was not a crime. It wasn't weather, or wildlife, or some backwoods lunatic cooking meth inside an abandoned trailer. What we saw, and what we followed, wasn't human evil. It was a rule. A cosmic law. Something older than the ground beneath our boots. And I am the only one who survived long enough to tell it in the right direction. 1. The first encounter. It was 2:07 a.m., October 18th, cold enough that my breath came out in thick white ribbons. I was doing solo patrol along the east ridge of Black Elk Loop, near the old mining roads. Standard night sweep. I radioed into the station. Ranger Cole checking in. All quiet. Officer Martinez, local deputy, good kid, he answered back. Copy that, Jack. You want me to swing over after my rounds? Nah, save your gas. I'll be in before 4. I wish I had said yes. The forest was unusually silent that night. October in the Appalachians usually means constant life, owls, coyotes, leaves crackling under small animals. But that night, the world felt paused. Like someone pressed a finger on the pulse of the woods. At 2:14 a.m., I saw the first footprint. Backward. A single human footprint in the mud, pointing the wrong way. If someone had been walking forward, the toes should have been ahead. But the indentation was reversed. As if someone walked heel first, moving backward along the trail. I knelt down, shined my flashlight closer. Barefoot. Adult-sized. Sunken deep. Something in it felt wrong. Not just the direction, there was a tremor in the outline, like the earth hadn't settled properly. I followed the prints. One backward footprint. Then another. And another. Until there were 3 sets. All barefoot. All reversed. That can't be right, I muttered, but my voice sounded tiny in the dark. The deeper I followed, the more the hair on my arms stood up. The tracks were perfectly synchronized, spaced evenly, too evenly, like synchronized steps in reverse. The trail climbed toward the high ridge, away from any campsite or road. No one would be here at 2 a.m. barefoot unless they were delirious or running from something. I kept walking. At 2:27 a.m., my flashlight hit something pale between the trees. At first I thought it was a deer. It wasn't. 2. The walkers. 3 human figures stood 20 feet away in the dark, illuminated only by the weak ring of my flashlight. They stood backwards. Their spines toward me. Heads tilted slightly. Feet positioned with the toes pointing behind them. Yet, they faced me. Or their eyes did. Each of them had their head turned 180 degrees over their shoulder, vertebrae stiff and unnatural, staring straight into my light with milky white eyes that did not blink. Their mouths hung open as if frozen mid-inhale. Faces gaunt. Skin stretched tight across bone. I recognized the first one from the missing persons bulletin board, Lauren Mitchell, a thru hiker reported missing 44 days ago. The second, Dylan Crowley, a 23-year-old college student last seen near Chattanooga, Tennessee. The third, Dr. Nathan Hendricks, a volunteer medic who vanished on a service trip in West Virginia. 3 people. Missing from 3 different states. All standing in front of me in the deepest part of Pisgah National Forest. Walking backward in perfect silence. Lauren's eyes did not track me. They stared through me, like she was watching something behind my ribs. None of them made a sound. Then all 3 began to move. Backwards. Perfectly synchronized, stepping heel first through the woods without looking where they were going. Their heads remained twisted toward me, necks rigid, eyes fixed. I froze. My mind screamed, people don't move like that. Something else was controlling them. Or pulling them. I shined the flashlight down for a split second to radio Martinez. And when I looked up, they were 2 feet closer. They had closed the distance without a single sound. I stepped back. Lauren? Dylan? Sir, doctor, can you hear me? No reaction. Their legs trembled with each backward step, but not out of weakness. It was more like the tremor of something resisting a force pulling them in reverse. Their torsos were angled slightly back as if gravity was reversed for them alone. All 3 moved backward in the same stride. Same angle. Same rhythm. It was like watching a film reel rewinding. My flashlight flickered. My breath caught in my throat. Then they spoke. In the same voice. Perfectly overlapped. Soft and distant, like sound traveling through water. You walked forward. Their heads tilted further. Vertebrae cracked like snapping twigs. Now you must walk back. I stumbled and fell. The forest spun. I felt a pressure around me, like a magnetic pull, but not physical. More like something was tugging at the memory of my movement, at the idea of forward. My legs twitched involuntarily, a sudden impulse to pivot, to turn around, to move in reverse. No. I forced myself upright. The 3 walkers stopped simultaneously. Their legs stiffened. Eyes rolled completely white. Something behind them stirred. Something invisible. Something that bent the air like heat above asphalt. Suddenly, all 3 jerked backward violently, as if yanked by an enormous hook, and vanished into the dark. I heard their bodies scraping along the ground, dragged backward into the depths of the forest. Then silence. 3. The trail of missing time. I didn't realize I was shaking until I dropped my radio. Martinez. Martinez, come in. Static. I pressed the button harder. Ryan, wake up, goddammit, come in. Finally. I'm here. Jack? You okay? I need backup at the North Ridge. Now. What happened? They are back. A long pause. Martinez whispered. The backward ones? I had told him once, off record, about a strange case back in 2014, a hunter found wandering miles from his campsite, walking backward for hours, eyes unfocused, muttering about a purple light underground. He died from dehydration before we could get the full story. Martinez never forgot that. Jack, stay where you are. I'm coming. No. Follow the tracks. But don't walk in them. I moved deeper into the woods. The earth was torn up, scrape marks, heel indentations, displaced leaves. Something huge had dragged those people backward faster than I could run forward. Their footprints grew more frantic. More twisted. More inhuman. And then they disappeared entirely, replaced by a single wide drag path, like someone sliding a massive object through the forest floor. The air grew colder. The trees thinner. Fog pulled low to the ground. The tracks led to a metal structure hidden between boulders. The sealed entrance to Black Rock Mine. Abandoned in 1982. Closed after a cave-in that killed 11 miners. Welded shut by the state. Except tonight, the steel door had been cut. Pried. Folded open like soft aluminum. There were no tool marks. It looked melted. Purple light pulsed faintly from deep inside. And behind that light, whispers. Hundreds of them. Soft, layered, identical. Walk back, walk back, walk back. My hands shook. My legs twitched again, that awful instinct to turn around, to move in reverse, to surrender to whatever force commanded those footsteps. I swallowed hard. Lauren. Dylan. Dr. Hendricks, are you down there? A dozen voices answered as one. We are all down here. Something moved inside the mine. Something enormous. something not bound to forward or backward. The purple glow intensified. And from the entrance, a cold wind blew outward. But the wind didn't feel like air. It felt like the absence of motion. The absence of time. The absence of forward. My radio crackled violently. Martinez's voice came through, panicked. "Jack, don't go inside. I'm 5 minutes away." I stared into the mine. Purple light spilled across the ground like liquid. The whispers grew louder. My legs trembled. Not from fear, but because my muscles wanted to pivot. To turn. To walk backward down the slope and into the mine. Something was calling every step I had ever taken. Every step anyone had ever taken. Because forward movement, I realized, was not natural. It was rebellion. A defiance of something ancient. And that ancient thing was waking up. I tightened my grip on the flashlight. "Ryan, hurry." My voice echoed down the shaft. The whispers stopped. Completely. Then, from the darkness of the mine, something whispered right behind my ear. "You walked forward." I spun. Nobody behind me. Just the entrance to the mine. And the glowing path downward. "Now you must walk back." The purple light surged brighter and brighter, stretching outward like a reaching hand. And I felt my right foot begin to turn of its own accord. Backward. Part 2. The moment my right foot twisted backward, a cold spike shot through my shin, like invisible fingers forcing my muscles against themselves. I gritted my teeth, fighting the urge to pivot fully. The pull wasn't physical, it was deeper, like something was tugging directly on the idea of movement. My radio crackled again. "Jack, hold on, I see your truck." "I'm close." Martinez's voice grounded me. "Barely." The wind from the mine mouth shifted, carrying a smell I can only describe as scorched stone and old water. The purple glow throbbed in slow pulses, like a heartbeat. With each pulse, my leg twitched, trying to reverse direction until the backward angle became the correct one. I forced myself to breathe. "Not yet," I whispered to myself. Not like them. But even saying that felt like pushing against a tide. Inside the mine, shapes moved, humanoid, but wrong. Like silhouettes walking backward in stuttering loops, repeating the same few steps. I could hear the scrape of heels dragging stone in perfect unison. I stepped away from the entrance. My leg fought the motion, trembling violently, but I forced myself forward, back toward the tree line. A voice whispered inside my skull. Not through my ears. Inside. "Forward is borrowed." I staggered. The trees around me blurred slightly, like I was looking at them through heat haze. The wind bent around me in a spiral, circling the mine entrance. The voice came again. "Backward is real." Then the mine went silent. Completely silent. And that made it worse. 1. The return of the missing. A crunch echoed behind me, leaves cracking under backward footsteps. I spun around. Lauren, Dylan, and Dr. Hendricks stood at the tree line again, exactly where I first saw them. Their necks were still twisted, faces pale, eyes milky white. Their bodies were skeletal, as if drained of everything except the ability to walk. Their chests rose and fell slowly, not breathing, more like something was puppeteering the motion. All three stared through me. Then they spoke. "He's coming." Just those two words. Perfectly synchronized. Perfectly calm. My flashlight flickered. Lauren's arm jerked upward, pointing toward the mine entrance, backwards, elbow bending in the wrong direction, bones creaking beneath her skin. "He waits between your steps." Another voice overlapped theirs, faint, far away, as if echoing from a deep cavern. "Walk back." The purple light inside the mine flared violently. Dylan's head whipped sharply, vertebrae cracking like snapping branches. His jaw unhinged slightly, revealing a hollow blackness stretching impossibly far into his throat. His mouth moved, but the voice came from everywhere at once. The path is almost open. My foot slid backward again, involuntarily. My spine locked as if my entire body was being rewound a fraction of a second. No. I wasn't falling under. Not yet. Stop! I shouted. For a moment, the forest froze. And then, a familiar voice behind me. Jack? You okay? I turned. Officer Ryan Martinez emerged from the trail, panting, flashlight in one hand resting on his holster. He took one look at the three backward walkers and went pale. Jesus! Jack, what the hell? He didn't finish his sentence. Because all three walkers turned their heads, slow, smooth, unnatural, toward him. In perfect unison, their eyes rolled forward, milky white turning bright violet. Then they whispered. Another forward walker. Martinez gripped my shoulder. Tell me that's not Lauren Mitchell. It is. And the others? Every missing hiker from the tri-state area? Probably. He swallowed, eyes darting among the three gaunt figures. Jack, the hell happened to them? Before I could answer, Hendricks took a slow backward step. The other two followed. Then another. Then another. And as they retreated, the pull inside my chest grew stronger. Martinez grabbed my arm. Jack, you're leaning backward. I hadn't realized it, but he was right. My torso was tilting, muscles pulling me toward the mine. The whisper in my mind was louder now. Follow. I steadied myself. Don't look at them. Look at me. Stay forward. But Martinez was staring past my shoulder. I turned. The mine was glowing brighter, no longer purple, but a deep, pulsing ultraviolet, like ultraviolet flame twisting around the entrance. And from inside, something moved. Not a person. Not even a shape. A distortion, like a shadow cast by something outside three-dimensional space. It dripped and folded itself, an impossible outline suspended in the air. The backward walker. Or at least part of it. 2. The walker between steps. Time didn't behave correctly around the creature. The purple light flickered but cast no shadows. The trees swayed but made no sound. The seconds felt stretched, as if everything was happening slower and faster at the same time. Martinez raised his gun. His hand shook violently. Jack, that thing isn't walking. It's folding. He was right. The entity didn't take steps. It reversed into itself, collapsing backward through a sequence of frames, like watching someone take a step in reverse without ever having taken the forward one. Every time it folded, the earth around it rippled, not physically, but visually, as if time rippled like water. My foot jerked backward again. The whisper sharpened. You belong to us when you walk back. Martinez held my arm tighter. Don't listen. Don't move. But something else was happening. Behind the creature, inside the mine, more figures stood forming a large circle. At least dozens. All walkers. All backward. All hollow-eyed. Whispering. Walk back, walk back, walk back. The cold wind grew stronger. The trees bent inward toward the mine entrance. Martinez whispered. Jack, I think it's feeding on forward movement. Or pulling us toward equilibrium, I said. Like backward is the default. Forward is the mutation. Martinez stared at me. You're talking crazy, man. No. I'm talking physics. This is not physics. It's older than physics. Something shifted behind us, rustling leaves. Lauren. She had broken formation. She moved backward toward us, one slow step at a time, eyes locked onto me with a hunger I cannot describe. Her vertebrae popped. Her jaw cracked wider. And she whispered, "You already turning." I touched my neck. My spine was angled slightly. Barely noticeable. But wrong. The infection had begun. 3. The pull. The backward walker unfolded itself again, this time closer. Its limbs were long, but not limbs. More like possibilities of limbs, unfolding from angles that shouldn't exist. Its presence felt like gravity in reverse, pulling everything backward through time's debris. The air tasted metallic. Like lightning and old dust. Martinez grabbed my radio. "Dispatch, we need backup at." Static. The signal was gone. Time itself seemed thinner here. I stepped forward, intentionally, firmly. The forest groaned. The purple light flared. Every walker froze. Every eye snapped toward me. The backward walker stopped folding and spoke, not into my ears, but through the bones of my legs, spine, skull. A step forward is a wound. I felt a crack inside my ribs, like my own timeline shifted half an inch left. Martinez fired 2 shots. Bang. Bang. The bullets slowed midair. Reversed. Fell onto the forest floor, rolling backward. Martinez screamed. "What the?" I grabbed his arm. It doesn't let anything move forward. It erases motion. Then how do we fight that? We don't. Because something else was happening. The backward walker wasn't attacking. It was opening something. A tear. A breach. A circular hole of ultraviolet energy that hummed like a tuning fork pressed against the world. Inside was no tunnel. No cave. No physical space. It was a place where movement didn't exist. Where time collapsed inward. Where everything walked backward forever. A null point. The walkers surrounding the mine began turning, rearranging themselves, forming a ritual circle. Their voices led. Forward is borrowed. Forward must be returned. Martinez shook me. "We have to go, Jack. Now. We can't outrun time. We can damn well try." But my breath froze as the backward walker leaned forward, if forward even applied, and extended a limb toward me. No. Not a limb. A line of reversed probability. And as it touched the air in front of me, my entire life, every step I'd ever taken, flashed backward in a single second. My body jerked into a pivot. My heel lifted. Martinez slapped my face. "Jack? Stay with me." I gasped. But it was too late. I could feel it happening. The infection had fully taken root. Every instinct inside me, every muscle, every memory of movement, every step I'd ever taken, was trying to undo itself. My next step was going to be backward. Not because I wanted to. Because backward was becoming the default. And the backward walker whispered, "Come home." The purple light swallowed the mine entrance. Then it swallowed the ground. Then it swallowed the night. And Martinez screamed my name as the world tilted. Backward. Part 3. I don't remember falling. One moment, the forest was collapsing into purple distortion, trees bending sideways, the mine mouth spreading like a wound in the world, and the next moment, the ground vanished beneath me. There was no sensation of movement. No falling. No gravity. Just absence. Like being unhooked from my own steps. When awareness returned, I was standing. Or something close to standing. It's hard to describe what standing means in a place where up and down don't exist, where forward and backward blend into one directionless plane. The world around me was a vast, circular chamber of violet fog. The floor wasn't stone or dirt, it was a rippling fabric of possibilities, shimmering like heat on asphalt. Every movement I made left a faint afterimage that dissolved into the ground, as though my steps were being erased the moment they happened. A low hum vibrated through the chamber, the sound of time grinding against itself. I wasn't alone. 1. The realm between steps. All around me, human shapes stood frozen in vast rings, walkers trapped mid-motion, eyes milky and unfocused. Lauren. Dylan. Dr. Hendricks. Dozens of others. All facing away from the center, backs turned, bodies stiff, as if waiting for something. I tried to step forward. My foot moved backward instead. Not by force, by design. Like the concept of forward had been removed. The chamber pulsed. Then a voice filled the air. Forward was your rebellion. The fog thickened, condensing into a form, humanoid only in the loosest sense, a tall, elongated silhouette folding and unfolding itself through impossible angles. Each fold produced a violent flash of inverted light, like reality stuttering. The backward walker. Except here, in its own domain, it didn't look like a creature. More like a rule. A cosmic algorithm given shape. It drifted toward me, limbs rearranging backward through microscopic steps. My throat tightened. Why me? I whispered. Why take me? The chamber groaned around us. The walker answered. Because you resist. Its voice was layered, thousands of whispers speaking through one mouth that it didn't have. The walker continued. The others surrendered years ago. You walked forward. Against the current. You wound time when you do that. The violet fog pulsed as dozens of frozen walkers spoke in unison without moving their lips. You wound time, you wound time. My knees buckled. This wasn't a monster. It wasn't malicious. It was a natural force, like gravity. Forward movement, progress, growth, evolution, it was unnatural. A flaw. Something humanity had done for too long. And the universe was correcting the error. 2. The truth inside the void. You pull people back, I said, trying to stay grounded. You move them backward forever. Why? What do you want? The walker tilted, or inverted, its head. We do not want. We correct. Time seeks balance. It extended a limb. Around us, the realm shifted to show moving images, moments from Earth, flickering like film projections. A deer running forward, then snapping backward through its own chase. A waterfall flowing upward into the clouds. A child taking a first step, then retreating into a crawl. Every image stuttered, reversing, and looping. Your world pushes outward, forward, against the natural fold. The chamber darkened. So we opened the path back. The violet fissure split wider, showing a dark spiral extending infinitely downward. I tried to steady my breathing. The hikers, the doctor, why them? The walker's answer was simple. Because they stepped where the fold was thin. Mountains. Abandoned mines. Places where the fabric of time was weakest. Where backward could seep through. The walker added. Your world dug too deep. Opened too many wounds. My stomach turned. Without realizing it, I whispered. Black rock wasn't the first mine to open a breach. The walker folded inward. There were others. There will be more. That meant only one thing. Sealing black rock did nothing. Destroying the entrance only made the walker choose another place. Human progress, mining, drilling, digging, kept cutting into the folds of backward time. We were creating the very points of entry. How do we stop you? I asked quietly. The chamber dimmed. You cannot. You walk in the wrong direction. My heart pounded. Then why bring me here? The walker's form rippled. To show you the long path. To let you choose your direction. I didn't understand, until the walkers around us began to move. Not on their own. Something was pushing them. A wave of pressure rolled through the chamber, forcing every body to pivot backward, legs jerking mechanically. Including mine. I felt my spine twist. My right foot lifted. Backward. 3. The last step forward. My vision blurred. The fog thickened around my head. The chamber tilted, bending into impossible angles. A magnetic pull wrapped around my spine, turning me toward the spiral at the center of the void. The hole. The true breach. If I stepped into that spiral, I knew I would never return. I would become one of them. A backward walker. A creature trapped in an endless loop of reversed steps, walking forever toward the birth of time. The walker spoke behind me. Return what was borrowed. My heel touched the ground behind me. I felt the infection spread, my memories slipping into reverse, childhood flashing before adolescence, adolescence before adulthood. My name unraveling. Jackson. Then Jack. Then Jay. No. I wasn't done. I forced myself to breathe forward. To think forward. To want forward. The fog around me trembled. For a split second, the pull weakened. The walker noticed. You resist still. Humanity always has, I whispered. It moved closer, its limbs spiraling backward into tangles of probability. Resistance is a wound. I shut my eyes. Then I remembered something. Not from this night, but from 16 years of being a ranger. Every lost hiker fights like hell to move forward. Forward means survival. Forward means hope. Forward means choosing life over the mountains that swallow people whole. Forward is humanity's legacy. And I wasn't ready to surrender it. Martinez's voice echoed suddenly, distant, as if carried across worlds. Jack. Don't go backward. Stay with me. That tiny spark of human sound lit something inside me. It was enough. I took one impossible step. Forward. The chamber screamed. Not sound. The fabric of the void itself ripping from the contradiction. The walker recoiled violently, folding into sharper, more chaotic angles. Forward is not allowed. My step landed. Barely. My leg trembled as if bone and memory were splitting apart. The other walkers froze. Their backward movement glitching, stuttering. I felt the chamber collapsing around me, walls of violet fog shredding into white static. The spiral at the center frayed. I had done something impossible. I had injured the breach. But one step wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed to destroy the fold completely. To seal the breach. To shut this realm forever. I needed to do what no human had ever done. I needed to force time to meet itself. Forward and backward colliding. I took another step. And another. Each one felt like ripping myself out of my own body. The walker screamed without a mouth. Stop. You break the path. One final step. Forward. The realm collapsed. Light swallowed everything, white, brilliant, absolute. The sound of 1,000 timelines snapping like twigs filled the void. I felt myself dissolve. Not die. Dissolve into that collision of directions. And in the instant before consciousness shattered, I sent one final message through my radio, one last thin thread reaching the world I was leaving behind. If anyone ever walks backward again, run the other way. 4. Aftermath. I do not know how much time passed. For me, time ended. For the world, things changed. The backward walkers in the forest stopped mid-step, collapsed, and slowly regained control of their bodies, alive but hollow, their memories scrambled, their sense of direction fractured. Every abandoned mine in the Appalachian Range registered seismic spikes at the exact same moment. Each one sealed itself. Doors crushed inward. Shafts collapsed. Caves imploded without warning. Every breach closed. Every fold healed. Martinez survived. He told the story. Told them I